Happy Saturday, you guys. I'm so glad to be here to go through your weekly transits. And again, my partners in crime are not here this week. It may be a little while before they actually join me. They got some really important things going on in their life. So, without further ado, I guess we can get in with the transits. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. And also make sure, as I said, comment if you guys have any comments on anything that I'm saying or have a question that you want to ask me. So, and I don't have a beautiful background. I'm having some internet issues. So it just seems to not be streaming very clear. It's creating blurriness. So I'm going to see if me not using a background is going to help with the streaming quality of the videos. But I'm working on getting my internet fixed. So hi, Michelle. Can you let me know if you can see me clearly? My last stream that I did, it was just really, really blurry, and you can hear me, but you can't see me. So just kind of let me know what that looks like on your end. That would be great. So I'm actually got a screenshot of a current transit chart that I'm going to be sharing throughout these videos. And with that, I also am going to be sipping on some wine. It's Saturday, right? A little blurry, not bad. I can hear and see you. Okay, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. So hopefully it will only stay a little bit blurry and not get really bad. Watching you from Nepal. We have a Facebook user here. So now, you guys who are commenting with Facebook, there is a little link where you're commenting at, but there's a little link up there that says that will give StreamYard permission for you to use your or so I can see your guys' name, whoever's commenting on Facebook. So if you could just click on that link and give Facebook that permission to let StreamYard know who you are, then I can see who's commenting. So, but I'm so glad that whoever you are, from Nepal. I'm glad that you're here. And let me know if there's any problems with you doing that where it's still not letting you or letting us see your name, because I love to see who I'm talking with. So, all right. And again, I'm having a little bit of wine today. You can hear my roommate in the back. She's a little bit loud, so I apologize for any noise back there. She's not a quiet person by any means. Okay, so let's share the screen. I hope everybody's having a really good week. I know we got a lot going on with transits and the energies. And, there's so many videos out there on the current transits. Really what I focus on, doing my videos is how can we use this energy personally in our life? What can we do with us and to better our life? I mean, there's nothing we can do about other people and the way that they're behaving and the events that are coming down. So really, it's all about how we can better our life through these trends for ourselves. So it really is, it's about self-care. If we can't care for ourselves, we can't care for anybody else, right? And it's not about being this highly spiritual, guru sitting up on the mountaintop, right? We have to live. We have our basic desires that we need to meet and that we want to meet. We want to be able to, pay our bills, but we also want to have successful relationships. We want to eat good food. We want to drink wine. We want to have sex. And really, but this is the experience of living here on earth. If we can't experience those things and enjoy them, then why the heck are we here? So, and, also we do get the privilege of experiencing taking difficult aspects in our chart and those difficult transits and be able to make the best out of those. And that's a whole nother experience. And that's called wisdom, where we get to, okay, I've learned from this transit. I'm going to apply this knowledge. I got it. And now we're going to move it up into wisdom. So then now you have that type of energy that we all want to experience in a positive way too. And then yes, we do have the spiritual part too, where we are, opening up our crown chakra, and we're using our creative intelligence or Ajna Nakshatra, where we're using our third eye. And what that does is it really taps us into the higher knowledge and higher knowing. And what we want to do with that, though, is bring it down to something that we can use and that's practical, right? Because, so if we have a vision, but we can't use it, then what good is the vision? So, and that's what, all these really great, knowledgeable people and that have created such, magnificent things in our life and in our world for us to use, like, electricity, heat, cooking, medical, you name it. And but that's what's going on with them, is that they really did, they took that higher knowledge, those visions that they got, and they were able to bring it down so we can use them here on earth. So that's really what makes a higher intelligent person. But we got to figure out kind of where we are on the scheme of things, right? Some people, they're going to be focused more on the spiritual side. Some people more on the gathering knowledge and learning and being able to share and communicate. Then we have other people who are also going to be more focused on the lower based knowledge about really being able to create a good life, creating money, and having those earthly lower chakra experiences. So some people are just a little bit more even in all of the chakras, or there's a heavier emphasis on the higher or middle or the lower chakra energies for each individual. There's none that's better than the other. And they're all equal. It's just how we are experiencing our energies and our earthly experience, how we're supposed to be able to manifest them out and experience them in this lifetime. So they're all positive. They're all good. Every experience you have is good, especially when you can really elevate it to a higher level and be able to transmute it into something that's beautiful. So that's what we're here for. So let's get into the current transits. Now, oh boy, that's flickering. Hold on, you guys. That doesn't look good. Let me see if I could do that again. Sorry about that. I may not be able to. Let's see. There we go. I'm not sure what happened or why that was flickering like that. So, and I'm going to change my background too, just here for a second. That's distracting. Okay, that's a little bit better. So I just took this screenshot of the current transits about a half an hour or hour ago. So, it was Scorpio rising when I took it. I can use any chart. I can use a round wheel. I can use the North Indian. I can use this chart. It just, I guess it really depends. You guys have to let me know what works better for you, or I'll just kind of swap it back and forth. But I know how to read and understand from every chart. So anyway, so of course I'm up here. I guess we can always, now let's start with Saturn. Saturn here is still in the sign of Capricorn. And Saturn is still, I got my notes up here too. I just want to be able to see you guys. All right. And so Saturn is still in the nakshatra called Uttarashada. So again, for our own life, this really is about watering and nurturing seeds that are going to be long lasting in our life. And this is really what we want to do with this energy of Saturn. Now, right now, I know that Saturn is being squared off, or excuse me, pretty close to being, it's still kind of being squared, even though I know Pisces went into Mars went into Pisces, there's still that, they're so close in degree that they're still kind of having that square energy happening. And Mars, of course, is, as I said, retrograde in Pisces, and it's still a little bit on the Gandanta side, still coming out of it a little bit. But, we are really, when it's in the sign of Pisces, Mars is fiery. Mars is about action. Mars is about life and death. He's very Thomistic in action. And he is all about right and wrong. Yes, no. And so when we got it in the sign of Pisces, when Mars is transiting through the sign of Pisces, and Pisces is more, of course, it's a water element. So, and it's sattvic. So Mars is looking at our higher beliefs, our higher values, and is willing to fight and die for what we believe in. Okay, this is going to set the theme up. So if it's squaring Saturn, and Saturn is long term, and everything comes in time, but we also realize that time is of an essence, right? So when we got Mars squaring off with Saturn and Uttarashada, and Mars is in Revati, looking at our higher beliefs, which has everything to do with the seeds that we're planting right now in this energy. Mars is ready to fight to the death, to make sure and to protect his seeds, to protect those beliefs, to protect the values, right? These values and beliefs, by the way, is what we have come up with with Jupiter. Jupiter is not our spirituality. Okay, so don't confuse Jupiter with spiritualism. It's just not. Jupiter is our beliefs. It's our higher values. And it's our hope. But any type of organization that has a belief is Jupiter. Whether it's Judaism, or it could be KKK, it could be the Illuminati, it could be atheism, it does not matter. That's where Jupiter comes into play, okay? And right now, Jupiter is transiting right over Pluto, or really close. It's 4 degrees from Pluto, right? Now, Pluto is, no, it just got done being retrograde, but Pluto is in Uttarashada. Jupiter is coming close, and it's in Purva Ashada right now. And as Jupiter is getting closer and closer, we're going to see a lot of really, I would have to say, evil things, deceit, things that were unknown and hidden, that were very negative, power-mongering people, okay, going to come out to the surface. And now we've got Mars, though, that's in Pisces, who wants to protect beliefs and protect what we believe in, is ready to fight for the death. This is what causes wars, you guys. This is the exact energy. Have you ever argued with somebody and was ready to fight for what you believed in? And that's the kind of energy that is happening right now. I hope that makes it a little bit more understandable why there's so many astrologers out there saying that things are going to get violent, right? Because Mars is in that point, that Gadanta point, which he's angry and he's going to fight for what we believe in. He is holding up Jupiter. So you may believe one way, this person is going to believe this way, and you guys are ready to square off and fight, because Jupiter is the one who is trying to protect our life. Mars. Mars is all about fighting to survive, fighting for our life. And when we get our actions questioned, when we get our beliefs questioned, it can trigger that fight or flight, life and death situation. So that's what's going on with these energies. Now, here is what we can use it for. And I should kind of maybe throw Mercury in here. Because Mercury went to retrograde. I believe, let me see, I have Mercury here. And I'm just going to kind of go with it. This is no structure, you guys. So I'm going to kind of be a little bit over the all over the board with this. Hopefully it will make sense. Just let me know if I'm not making sense, and I will go a little bit more structured. But I'm going to be just a little bit more casual today with all of this. So yeah, Mercury, October 14th is when Mercury goes retrograde. So, and Mercury is in the sign of Swati. Now, how Mercury, the energy of Mercury plays out in our life, you guys, he's neutral. It's not good or bad. He's just trying to get information and being able to communicate, not say this is right or this is wrong, right? Mars, right, wrong, life and death. Jupiter is our hope and our belief, right? So he is just kind of accumulating information, and he's in Libra. So, our Mercury's kind of, probably that energy of Mercury's kind of everywhere, where we're like, okay, is it here? Is it there? We're trying to balance out because, Mercury's a busy sign anyways, or a planet. He's really busy. And he wants to have fun, kind of maybe play a little bit, but it's all really neutral to him. There's no judgment with Mercury. And him being in the sign of Libra, He's trying to gather all kinds of information from other people, from other sources. He's trying to communicate with other people, and so what he's doing is he's collecting all of this information. He's all over the board. It's in with Rahu. And right now he's got this desire, right, to collect all the information that he doesn't know, that that may be a little bit confusing, and he's bringing it back to us, right, saying, okay, I've learned this and I've learned that, and I think this is the best way to go, or that's the best way to go. It really depends upon where your Mercury is at, and of course your ascendant sign is what kind of information and where they're getting that information from. But it's really got this Libra quality about it, is Swati, if you will. And Swati is also, very much about the internet, because Rahu is about the internet. And really what we're doing, even to just tip this over just a little bit more, Rahu is in the sign of Taurus. He's in the sign of Mrigashira, that is ruled or associated with Rahu. And even though, it's going to be a little bit more of a calmer influence, because Taurus is more of a fixed sign. But with that being said, though, Rahu is wanting a little bit more pleasure, that earthly Venus type of pleasure, if you will. Alcohol, and I'm sitting here drinking, right? Oh my goodness, I have to take a drink now. I haven't taken a drink since I've been on here. So let me take a drink. One for you and one. Oh, and that's Rahu. Rahu is wanting that, that pleasure, and to feel good. And sometimes Rahu goes down the wrong rabbit hole, and or maybe he overindulges. So we always want to make sure that we have and control over that energy, so he doesn't go overboard with it. But Mercury, though, is tapping into that energy of Rahu. So we're really looking at our values. And on October 14th, when Mercury goes retrograde, it's a really, really strong look at our contracts, who we're having discussions with, how we're communicating, what are we communicating, are we living our values? And this is what's really, really important with Mercury, because Mercury, it goes Mars, Mercury, and then Jupiter. Okay, Mars is that animal instinct for life and death, and to fight for our life, to fight for our beliefs, to fight for the information that we've gathered, right? That's all Mars does, life and death. I'm going to protect myself, right? Eat, kill. And that really is who Mars is on that energy in our chart. And then Mercury goes out and he's like, okay, but, and he's like, but Mars, are we really questioning? Are we really fighting for the right thing? Are we really doing the right thing? Wait a minute. Let's go out and gather some more information. Wait, let me do some research. Let me get some education. Let me start asking questions. Let me start communicating, with other people. And that's what Mercury does. And he's very neutral, because all he does is he wants to gather that information and communicate it in a logical, practical way, so that our sun and moon can make some logical decisions and be able to integrate it into our life, or decide what we want to integrate in our life or not. And then Jupiter takes it like, well, okay, so if we're doing this, if we are gathered up all this information, well, this kind of changes my belief. And maybe my belief wasn't, maybe I wasn't taught the right belief when I was a child, or maybe this belief really doesn't align up with my values. So, I want my values, are going to be changing. So I want to do this. I want to believe in this thing instead. I have hope for the future for this right now. This is my hope. And so we change our beliefs as we grow and gather information, right? And so then Mars wants to come in and fight for those beliefs and fight for our hope. And that's what he does. And Mercury's just out there gathering information. So that's really where we're going at, where we're heading at within the next couple of weeks. And with Mercury going retrograde, guys, watch out for this. Mercury's going to want to gather information from partners, from other people, whomever you're associated with, because this is a very, very Libra thing. And look at where Libra is at in your chart. And he's going to be gathering information about if this person's aligns with your values, if this person, if what they're saying is true or not. And that's how you want to use that in your life, so then you can make those adjustments necessary. This energy is really allowing you and pushing you toward that type of action and knowledge gathering, if you will. So, and that's why Jupiter, as it's coming closer to Pluto, and when it gets conjunct with Pluto, anything that's dark and seedy and that is ill, and has ill intentions, it's going to explode. It's going to come out. It's going to come out in the world. But my question is, where is that in your chart? Where does, all of this type of fear, or maybe you have some things that you just haven't dealt with in your past, that's going to come up, and you get that chance to deal with it in your life. That's why we've got this beautiful transit, and how we can use it in our own life. And Saturn is there. It's like whatever you change, whatever you want to change and believe, you got that energy of Mars, like, yeah, this is how I want to change it. I'm planting that new seed. This is going to be, for the long run. And, things are running out. So I can't just keep doing the same mistakes over, or living the same life over and over again, and not be productive or happy with it. And Mars is really going to give you that energy to really fight for it and push back. And so that's a really, really important energy that we can use in our life. So despite of what's going on out there, we know that there's going to be arguments and fights and wars and people acting irrational and being egotistical. We know that's going to happen. So there's nothing we can do about that. So don't stress about it. We'll just look at what can we do today with us. What's our life like? How can we improve our life? So let me see here. Venus, and I haven't forgot about Venus, you guys. Venus right now is in Purva Falguni, and this is the sign of Leo. So it's a little bit fixed energy. So let me explain a little bit more about this energy. And this is maybe a little bit my Rahu and Venus happening, because Venus is wanting a little bit of to relax and have a little bit of that pleasure, right? But at the same time, it's in Leo, and Leo is all about what you got to do, right? So it's like the princess being with the king. It's good, but then there is that element of, am I doing the right action? Am I being giving? Am I being selfish? Am I not being selfish? Because Leo, it's that fifth, it's a natural fifth house, right? And when we're taking care of our children and we're raising our kids, it has nothing to do at all with us receiving anything. Okay. Again, that sun is a sattvic, and it gives and it gives and it gives and it gives. And here Venus has to learn to be giving, and humbled. So the sun doesn't necessarily, Leo doesn't want to necessarily have her overindulge, but it can definitely happen. I mean, Venus is like, maybe, trying like, no, I got the power and I want to shine, and, let me do what I want to do. I want to be selfish. So that's kind of that energy of Venus being in the sign of Leo and being in Purva Falguni. Are we being responsible, or are we wanting to overindulge in Venus type of things? So there's always got, again, be that balance out there. So really, looking at our values and how does it, how does our creativity and what we bring out to the world, how does it have that impact on everybody? And again, it can't be just about us. And this is what Venus needs to learn in this aspect. It's, yeah, you can have some fun, Venus, but really it's not all about you. You can't be totally selfish. And let's be honest, Venus is the princess. Venus does want to be selfish. And if you look at a Venus, let's say in Taurus, and Venus does really, really, really well in Taurus, but Taurus is all about money and our values and what's going to make us happy and what's going to please us, and good food we want to eat, right? It has that selfish quality to it. So Venus here is going to really want everything to kind of be around what she wants, that makes her happy, what makes her environment beautiful, and really makes her values flourish in the world. So if that makes sense. So that's kind of what we're working with Venus being in Leo. So let's see. So let's go ahead and start out now going through our moon signs. So right now, moon is in Punavasu, and I do believe, let me look at the chart here. Yeah, it's on the Gemini side. Gemini 6 degrees. I hope that is Ardra. Excuse me. Okay, so it's going to be going into Punavasu, and I apologize. I should have looked at this a little bit closer, but that's okay. So right now, Gemini is actually 6 degrees, I believe, is in Mrigashira. And so it's in that Gemini sign, and it's going to be going into Ardra and then Punavasu. And I'm just kind of pulling up my little spreadsheet here. Okay, Gemini, here we go. I just want to make sure I got my degrees correct. So, all right, yes. So it is just about so it's probably in Ardra at this point, or just about to cross over into Ardra. And Ardra is not the easiest events. It's not the easiest nakshatra for the moon to be in. So the moon in Gemini is restless. It's very, very busy. It's very unsettled because the moon wants stillness. The normal sign for moon, of course, is Cancer. That's what the moon rules. But at the same time, it's exalted in Taurus, and there's a reason why. Taurus is stillness. It is a fixed earthy sign, and moon can be so watery. Unless it comes closer to the sun, it becomes more airy, but it's so watery. So that Taurus earth lets the moon, that fixed sign, lets the moon just kind of settle into the earth like a pond. So in Gemini, it's airy. So it's kind of getting blown all over the place. So you got your water being rippled, right? It's like if you look at a pond or a river, but you see the air blowing on the water, and that air causes turbulence in the moon. So the moon doesn't feel very good. Sometimes even with Ardra, and again, depending on your Dasa cycle, you guys, but we could be delivered some really difficult news, whether about ourselves or maybe about a family member. or maybe communication will go awry, especially with the current transits. Maybe we end up in a fight or an argument with somebody. That's kind of an Ardra theme right there, especially being in Gemini, our communications. And so, and we're not, so that's starting today. So maybe things are not going to go as well as what we want, or maybe we're going to be delivered news that just kind of makes us unhappy. And for some it could be devastating, you guys. But now, moon then is going to be transiting right into Punavasu, and that's return to the light. And the moon does feel better here, especially when it goes right on over into the Cancer side of Punavasu. So tomorrow we're going to feel a lot more settled and a lot more calm and a lot more hopeful, if you will, especially when it goes right into the Cancer side, because the moon is going to be nourished, right? That's that inner nourishment inside Cancer. And, the moon's feeling like, okay, it's going to be good. It's going to be hopeful. And all we have to do now is, kind of receive the goodness of life, right? And so for the next couple of days after that, it'll be in Cancer. And of course, it'll do well in Pushya. We'll have such a great nurturing focus on our children, as well as our nurturing ourselves. And really great day for meditation and just to really be in that mode of nurturing and self-care for us and the children. I mean, this is a great time, you guys, to receive. And then the moves into the sign of Aslesha. And Aslesha is about, serpent of the deep. And this is us digging a little bit deeper inside of us for our values, what nurtures us, what is our truth, what are we really believing in. And Mercury's going to kind of help with that, because Mercury, right, is going, is in Libra, gathering up information and communicating with partners, with business partners, with marriage partners, whatever partner that we may be working with. We're also communicating out there on social events. We're communicating out there online. We're digging up, researching, and we're spreading. There's so much information that's going out. We want to make sure that we're listening to the right information. But Moon is going to be in such a great place to dig really deep and be able to settle into the deepness of that information and be able to really cipher out what's true and what's not true. There's a little bit uncomfortable because being in where Aslesha is associated with Mercury. Mercury again is that busy planet, and the moon really does prefer stillness, you guys. So that's why it's so important to keep track of where the moon is at each and every day, so we know, like, well, why do I not feel very still today? Why am I kind of up and down in my emotions, or I just can't seem to find that peace? Well, look at where the moon is at. That's going to give you one of the biggest clues why. So then after it's done with Aslesha, it's going to go and it's going to join the king. It's going to join Maga. And, I tell you what, one thing about Maga, and now one of my kids actually has moon in Maga. So I'm really aware how these guys kind of function with that moon. It's really, it's amazing. And what's amazing is that, and he's my youngest son, and there's really no ego with him. There's no ego. And he's got other things going on in his chart. But it's like, this is about my ancestry. And he is so diligent in digging up everything about his history. And I'm not talking just about his grandparents, but he is part what he would call Viking. And he knows everything about the Vikings. He's always searching for everything about Vikings and his ancestry. So this is a part where you're going to really see and correlate with what you believe in, why you believe in this, and really attach yourself to those things. He's very much my ancestors, is Viking. I like the Vikings, a mode of operation and what they believe in. And he knows all about the gods, everything, you guys. I'm talking everything. But he's aligned his life up and his values with the Viking tradition. Okay, so this is what Maga is all about, and the moon being in here. Watch what you guys do on that day. You guys are going to see that you're going to really start looking at your values, where they're coming from. Does your past line up with your current or where you want to go values? Right? And start questioning why you believe these things. We've got the perfect transits. It's really going to trigger this, and it's going to be a really good theme for that day. Especially when you're looking at Saturn and you're looking at Mars and Mercury and where all the planets are, they're telling you a story for you. They're telling you a story for you. And how you can use these energies to better your life. So this is a good time to be still and in that, and just kind of look at it, receive it, not necessarily make a judgment on it, because again, the moon is all about receiving. So maybe you'll receive some information you didn't know about your past and about your family heritage. So just be prepared for that day and watch the theme around it. Then it goes on, it's still in Leo, but then it's going to go into Purva Phalguni. And Purva Phalguni is about taking all that information, right, and start organizing it and putting it out where it can be of service to the kingdom. And so this is like, how do I want to implement this into my life, into my creativity? What do I love about it? What do I not love about it? Because, you are your kind of your own kingdom, right? And and how you guys want to bring that out and learn more about it, to bring it out to service. Because that's what Purva Phalguni is all about. It has an artistic quality, a creative quality. So you're learning something, and now you want to bring it out into something creative, something that's fun, though, something that can be delivered with beauty, because Purva Phalguni is associated with the planet of Venus. And Venus, again, loves, values. And it's all about communicating, and it's all about commerce and doing business, right? So Purva Phalguni is associated with Venus. Then it's all about our creativity and what we bring out to our partners and doing business. Now, I do have to say that the moon is going to be conjuncting Venus in this, and Venus is is our sex. Venus wants to feel good, and Venus wants to feel love in a Rajasic way, and part of that Rajasic earthy love is having sex. So I really expect this to be a big theme, especially with the moon being around Venus. It just is what it is, and Venus is in a fiery sign, so it's going to act out in those type of themes and ways. So just watch what you do, watch your thoughts, watch what you do, and just kind of not put judgment on it, but just observe it. It's going to happen. And I think that, let me see. So Puva, Uttara Falguni. So Puva, it goes into Uttara Falguni, which I wasn't going to go quite this far, but when the moon does go into Uttara Falguni on the Leo side, again, it really is about now us bringing out our managerial and authoritative creativity to the public. All right, because Uttara Falguni, especially on the Leo side, the Uttara Falguni is associated with sun power. The sun is the king. This is where we want to shine. All right, so just kind of watch out for that. Those things, there'll be something. It could be on a small scale or it could be on a large scale, but watch how that plays out in your guys' life. Now, there's a couple of really interesting things that I want to tell you guys today. And I was doing this as I was kind of going through the transits. So we've got a new moon coming up on October 16th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, by the way, exactly the new moon. Now, what's really interesting about this is the new moon is going to be at 29 degrees in Virgo, the Chitra Nakshatra. Our last new moon, by the way, was in Hasta. It was Uttara Falguni, but it was in Virgo. So this is 2 new moons in the sign of Virgo. That's a huge Virgo thing. Virgo, you guys, now remember, Virgo really is about our daily routines, what we're doing for our health. How do we have our life structured, right? Because our habits every day is what brings us success. Okay, that's what makes us successful. If we have good habits every day, we come out ahead, right? So now here's something that's really, really interesting, and I'm going to be watching it, you guys, really close. But now the full moon to this new moon, the full moon is going to be in Aries. Normally, we have a new moon and then the full moon comes around to the 7th sign, the exact opposite, of the zodiac sign. So our last new moon was in Virgo, and our full moon to that new moon was in Pisces. Okay. Now this new moon is again in Virgo, 29 degrees. Big, especially if you have a planet here, huge impact. All right, because this last degree of Chitra is on a really, really successful overnight success star. So look at your charts to see what you've got aligned up on 29 degrees of Virgo or even 29 degrees Pisces, because it's hitting the opposite. Okay, expect something great to happen. Now, the full moon, though, to it is 8 signs away, not 7. I find that very, very interesting. 8th is transformation. It is change. And I know people want to associate everything bad with the 8th sign. No, don't do that. It's going to be 8th house. So something personal to you is going to happen that's going to transform your life from your daily habits, what you are doing, the project you're working on, the skills that you're working on, the education, right? That's, the Virgo is all about those skills and sharpening the skills, getting you ready to bring it out in the public. So I find it really interesting. Something else about the 8th house. 8th house is indicative of other people's money. So your skills and personally receiving other people's money, fullness, you're getting the fullness, you're getting the fulfillment of that skill. So watch out, look at your family's charts to see who's got degrees, planets in these close degrees, whether they're trining, squaring, or opposition. Look at the 29 degree, you guys. this could be something that magnificent happens in your life. And if you got planets in Virgo, um, but not at the 29-degree mark. Just look, there's going to be something transformational, maybe not on a grand scale, but something that's really going to impact your life, and really transform it, and really be something that, as I said, you've been working on, you've been sharpening your skills, and it comes out, to be something just very beneficial for you, and for others. So, because we are talking about Aries, so I know it's going to be something that happens to the individual personally. So, because that's what, Aries is kind of us. So, and of course, look at your chart. Where does Aries sit? Right, in your chart? Is it the 10th house? Maybe it's something career. 11th house, maybe there's something of gains, right, from the 10th house. Is it the 8th house? Maybe it's other, it could be with other people's money, or just a really huge personal transformation that you don't have any control over. It just happens. Is it your 6th house of health? Maybe you're going to find a huge healing that's going to happen, right? A huge transformation in your health. If you were in a court battle, maybe it's going to go away. That's going to be very beneficial for you, right? Rather than negative. Was it your 3rd house? And maybe it has to do with travel and communications, your neighbors, look at your younger siblings. So it just really depends on what house it's sitting in for you. So let me see if I wanted to say anything else. Weekly transits, in a half-hour time, and I always have the intentions of doing that, but it just doesn't happen. So I'm just like, what, the show is going to be an hour long, because once I start really talking about these planets, you guys, and in these signs, and how they can really do something just awesome in your life if you're self-aware. The people who are not self-aware, you're like, well, how does it impact them? Well, they're the ones who are causing the riots. These are the guys who are out arguing and fighting, and they are spending all of their energy, instead of improving themselves and improving their life, they're spending all of their energy out arguing and fighting. So that's kind of what happens, right? And they go down the wrong rabbit hole, which leads them to nowhere. So that's why we want to be self-aware. But let me see. I covered Pluto. I didn't really cover Rahu and Ketu, but again, Rahu, well, I did cover a little bit of Rahu being in Mrigashira. Ketu, of course, is in Jyestha. But watch my last week's video. I really covered them a little bit more in depth at that time. And let me see, Sun being in the Chitra, of course, being with the new moon. So I kind of covered that a little bit. Something that is going to be very, very humbling. Wherever our sun is at, it's trying to purify that. But that is a certain power that we have that will be very humbling to us. So really just look out for October 16th and until it, which is the new moon. And then when it hits that full moon in Aries, I think it's going to be quite the day. I would love to see how that plays out in your guys' life. So maybe, next week or the week after that, just kind of, listen to the comments like, well, this is kind of how it's playing out in my life. And I see this happening, due to this or that. And just kind of let us know. It helps everybody. And it really builds that community where we can really embrace each other and help each other, maybe, uplift each other, even if we're having a hard time, but be able to celebrate in those good times for each other. So anyways, this was my Saturday transits. And thank you so much for being here, you guys. Subscribe like and leave any comments so that we can see what you guys are thinking and feeling at this time. And I will see you guys next week for I'm just going to kind of stop sharing here. And I will see you guys next week for the weekly transits. I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful week. Now, remember that I will be back on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And this is just a Mercury Wednesday, is just all about whatever I want to talk about, not necessarily the transits, unless I want to talk about that. And I will address a question that anybody asks in the grill on Mercury Wednesday. And just kind of, this is all about knowledge and sharing and communicating. That's what Wednesday is all about. Expat Media, I do have a show on there at 1 o'clock. So tune in there. And then, of course, we have Venus Friday, and that's all about looking at what's going to make our Venus happy. Has our Venus been happy? And maybe really good ways to keep her happy, because she's an important thing in our life too, right? We need to be happy. So everybody, have a beautiful weekend. So thank you so much for showing up. And again, subscribe, like, share, and I love you guys, and I will see you guys later. Bye.